I think it's safe to say that I've burned to the bottom of this candle, but I'm not going to throw it away. What I'm going to do instead is make a new candle out of the sky, and this whole video is about that, how to reuse these candle vessels to make new candles. So if you're interested in how to repurpose these jars to make brand new candles, then keep watching. When I first picked out this candle, one of the things that stood out to me was the actual jar and its little decor thing over here. I knew that once this candle was done that I was not going to throw this jar away. I was going to reuse it to make a brand new candle because it's just so pretty. But there are a few things we need to do to this candle jar first in order to prep it to become a brand new candle. Let me show you the steps. The first thing we'll want to do is get all of this extra wax out of here. And the way I'm going to do that is by sticking this in the freezer and shrinking the wax so that it pops out much easier. We are going to let the candle literally chill in there for a couple of hours, and while it's doing that, in the meantime, I'm going to figure out how much wax I'm going to need for the inside of that candle vessel. So the way to figure out how much wax to use inside of your candle vessel is actually pretty easy. I got this from a video that I watched by Memory Box Candle. She makes tons of really great candle making videos. Highly recommend if you're a fan of candle making that you go watch her channel. She's absolutely amazing. And the equation goes like this. It's the weight of your candle, and you divide that by 100% plus the percentage of the fragrance amount you're going to be using in the candle. So for my candle, this is how that equation looks like. The weight of this candle is 434 grams, and the way that I know that is because it was listed on the label of the candle at the bottom, but this is probably going to be somewhere on your candle. It's actually required that you put the weight of your candles on the label of the candle. So you're going to take that weight, 434, you're going to divide it by 100%, and to the 100% I'm going to add 10% because I plan to use 10% fragrance load for this candle. So it's going to be 434 divided by 110%, and I get this number right here. And this is the number that I'm going to be using for my weight of wax. So to get the weight of my fragrance oil, all I have to do is subtract that number, the weight of the wax that I'm going to use, from the initial candle weight. And there you go, that is my fragrance oil weight. Super simple. Thank you so much to Erica for teaching me this because it was something that I did not know about, but it definitely works every single time. So this candle has been in the freezer for a few hours, and let's see how easily I can get all this extra wax to come out by using a knife. So just get in there, and I don't know if you saw that, but it's already cracking off quite easily. There's that big chunk that just came off right there. That into here. And all this extra wax that you pop off, don't throw that out either. If you have a wax warmer, just reuse the wax in those things. Knife is doing a good job. Just basically breaking up that wax at the bottom of the glass here, breaking it up into smaller chunks. That's how much wax I pulled off already. And then you go in there and dig with a spoon. You can pop off big chunks like that. So here is how much wax I was able to pull out of that candle. And when you reach the bottom, you're gonna see those wick tabs, and you're gonna need to pop those off. And for this particular candle, they're on there pretty good. So just gotta get under them, push them up, and after some pulling, you should be able to get them out. Just like that. Pulled off one. This is a 2-wick candle. Whoever made this candle did a really good job of sticking those tabs down. See all that sticky stuff at the bottom? That's what the tabs are stuck to. So we were able to get those 2 tabs out, and now what we're going to do is clean up the rest of this jar because there's candle residue in this, and even though I'm making a new candle out of this, we really want this jar cleaned so that the tabs can stick to the bottom of this jar. If there's any bit of candle wax or anything else between that sticky tab and the glass, it might not adhere properly. So we're gonna take some extra time to really clean this out so that we can use it again. So we've taken the extra time to really clean out the inside of this jar. So now what we're going to do is measure out our wax and then melt it. The wax we're using today is this silky soy wax from Mille Rouge, Canada. I used it in a few candles and really like it. It's super simple to use. and very easy to work with. So we're gonna go ahead and melt this. I'm using a Presto pot to melt my candles. And this might seem a lot for one candle, but I'm also creating other candles today. So they're all gonna be melting in this pot, which makes candle making so easy if you are at a level where you're making multiple candles at a time. Some sort of big wax melter like this is a godsend. I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna measure out the wax for my other candles and add it to the pot. To use this guy, you just plug this in to the unit here. You hear a click, and you plug the unit into a cord. And then I set this on 200. Because with silky soy wax, you want it heated to at least between 190 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once it gets to that temperature, then you can mix in your fragrance oils and then pour. So this will be very, very quick. Usually wax takes me anywhere between 20 minutes to half an hour with this guy. So it's amazing. I'll see you in just a little bit. And also make sure before you melt anything down that it's in the S position, which S means shut, and not in the O position, which means open. So while that is melting down, we can wick our candle vessel. And what you want to do when you are choosing your wick is to measure the diameter of your candle vessel. And when I measure this guy, I get about 3.75 inches in diameter. So we're going to want to pick a wick specifically made for a candle jar of this size. Rouge Canada has these number 14 6-inch candle wicks, and they're meant for containers that are 3.5 inches to 3.75 inches wide, which is perfect. So what we're going to do is pull one out, and we're going to stick a sticky tab to the bottom of this so that we can stick it to the bottom of this jar. So let me go grab my sticky tabs right over here. You can get a giant roll of these from Amazon or very cheaply. Now, what we're going to do is stick our sticky tab to the bottom of this wick. We're going to press down real tight and then peel off the paper protector thing. And we are going to stick this right in the middle of our candle vessel. We're just going to stick it on there like that. And then I'm going to use a metal skewer to really stick it down onto the glass. So we have it stuck on there, and a good rule of thumb when you stick down a tab using these wick stickers is to give it a really hard tug to make sure that it's actually very securely attached to your glass. Now if you're doing this and it pops off or it's not sticking, that's usually a pretty big sign that you still have wax in between your tab and the glass of your container. So take that extra time to really clean it out. You can use dish soap and water. And if you are cleaning out with dish soap and water, of course, make sure that you dry these vessels out completely before making your candle, because we don't want water in our candles as well. So that is on there pretty good. Now I'm going to add wicks to the rest of my candle vessels, and I will come back. So I have my candles in my insulation box. And before I pour, I need to measure out my fragrance oils. And for my fragrance, I decided to scent this candle with a blend of Coffee Cake from New Directions Aromatics and White Caramel Cold Brew from Fizz Fairy. And the reason why I chose these two is because they have a really high flash point, which means they'll be compatible with the hot temperature of the silky soy wax. And that's something you need to pay attention to when picking your fragrance oils, is to pick fragrance oils that have a high enough flash point that you can actually use them in candles. Because of the temperature of the wax, when you pour it, you want to pick fragrance oils that aren't going to lose their scents or compromise their integrity if they have a low flash point. And I really love White Caramel Cold Brew. This smells like a true caramel coffee scent. Like what a Starbucks drink would smell like a caramel macchiato. It smells just like that. So our wax is completely melted. What we're going to do is dispense the wax into a pouring pitcher and then add our fragrance oil to that. But let me quickly show you how hot the wax is. We have it at 197, which is perfect. All right, so we're just going to begin our pour into our pouring pitcher. So now I'm gonna pour my fragrance oil into my wax. And I'm gonna stir for about 2 minutes to allow the wax molecules to fully bind with the fragrance oil molecules. I got this large pouring pitcher from Village Craft and Candle. They are a candle company in Ontario, and they have tons of really good candle making supplies. Oh, that smells amazing. I've had the coffee cake candle on my line for a really long time, and I've since decided to discontinue it only because that coffee cake scent is so popular now, and I want to add my own twist to it so that it's not the same as all the other coffee cake candles out there. But if you're looking for a fragrance oil that people love in candles, coffee cake is a really good place to start. It's definitely been one of my best-selling candles. Has a bit of spice in there and that coffee smell in there. It's definitely a pastry sweet scent, but it's not sickly sweet. It's nice. I really like the spiciness of it, and I think that's what most people are drawn to when they smell it. All right, so I'm done stirring. I'm gonna pour first into my store candles here. Whatever is left over, I'm gonna pour into my home candle. All right, and whatever's left goes into this guy. That's a pretty perfect pour, if I do say so myself. I'm just scrape as much as I can to this candle here. So to keep the wick centered, I have it wrapped around my chopstick here. Just make it so that it is right in the middle, because when you burn it, you really want an even burn, an even melt pool, and the way you achieve that is just by a centered wick. So now that I have that centered, I'm gonna use these guys to center my other wicks. And I would use these to center that candle, but it's too wide of a candle. These are really easy to center. Just feed them through the holes and let them sit just like that. You've got yourself a centered wick. So that is one scent poured and the wicks are centered. Now I'm gonna do my other 5 jars here. And these candles are gonna be scented in my favorite, absolute favorite candle fragrance oil, and that is Oak and Whiskey by Mo Rouge Canada. Can't really see it, but this fragrance oil is amazing. It has a flash point of 200, which means it's great for the silky soy wax, and it just smells amazing. It smells so good, and anyone who picks up an Oak and Whiskey candle for my table buys it. Like, I sell out of these candles so fast. So if you're thinking of a great candle fragrance that is good all year round but sells especially well during Christmas time, Oak and Whiskey. It's amazing. So here are my candles all poured, and here's my reused home candle. I tightened the wick up using one of these guys. I don't know what they're called, but you definitely want to make sure that that wick is nice and tight when you're centering it, otherwise it could still drift from side to side. But my studio smells pretty good right now, and I'll show you what they all look like once they are dry. So it has been about an hour or so, and this is what my candle now looks like. We are completely solidified. That is the final result. Now remember, we were using silky soy wax, and this is a pretty smooth top. Now all I have to do is just cut off the top like so. And here is a finished candle. There's a little bit of a ripple there from when I was wiping the table and I moved the wax around a little bit as it was drying, but it is pretty smooth, which is awesome. Now that you have your brand new candle, you can add a new label to it if you want to, but I think I'm just gonna keep it simple with this orange jar so that when it runs out, I can use it again for a different candle. Here it is. So it's been a few days and I've allowed this candle to cure. With silky soy wax, a 5-day cure time is recommended, but the longer you wait to light this, the better it gets. It's kind of like wine. It smells so good, and I think it turned out really, really good. I think it just makes for a really fun project, or even if you want to give a gift and not spend that much money, this is a cool idea, I think. So let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you guys also do with your used up candles? And is it something that you've been wanting to do but didn't exactly know how to? Let me know. And if you like this kind of video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more fun projects like this, then don't forget to subscribe. For the fragrance oil and the wax and the wicks that I used, all of the materials, that is listed in my description box below. So if you want to check any of them out, that's where it is. If you want a step-by-step printable PDF on how I did this, that is on my Patreon. Speaking of my Patreon, thank you to my patrons. All of you are so amazing, especially my Bubble BFFs, these guys right here. Your generosity and messages and comments, they mean so much to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So that's it. Until the next video, keep smiling, keep being awesome, and keep making beautiful, amazing things like reusing your candle vessels to make brand new candles. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.